because she deals true damage. That is max percentage HP, especially with that Grand Challenge ultimate.
No, exactly that, Rafa. You point out perfectly. I think that Fiora is going to be going up against the Wukong, and we're going to be seeing the Jhin. I feel like Jhin is really the only other strong AD carry that is left out of the pool at the moment, and they want to prioritize this Jhin because they know that because the Ziggs has been taken already, that the marksmen were going to get banned by WRLB on the red side. So making sure that you pick that AD carry early on is very important. And now it's down to really Anran9 what he picks for his team. Does he prioritize?
Oh, baby! I see a Zed and I'm a happy camper. I always love seeing some ninja action on Wild Rift. Helios gave us a bit of a show in our creator track match against Team Turkish Delights, and he styled on it. Gave him the nickname the Filipino Hokage, but we'll see if Anran can step up to the plate and pull off some Shadow Clone Jutsu of his own. The Vi is going to get taken off the table. I was curious to see if WRLB actually wanted to synergize that with the Ziggs, because Cease and Desist into Mega Inferno Bombo, always a classic, but just making sure that WRL Red don't have further single target lockdown of their own.
And now I'm a little bit worried here for this Jhin, knowing that the Zed could gain access into the backline, which puts pressure on WRLR to have some form of disengage. Jhin is a very vulnerable champion. Even though you do have that curtain call from very, very far away to start the fight for your team, you can expect a lot of these assassins to really find a very different angle to enter the fight.
And with the junglers being banned on WRL Blue, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this Zed decides to go into the jungle. It can be a viable option in the jungle. We have seen already over the last few days a wild round smash with the mid lane pick. Jungle with other junglers being banned though could also be the Wukong, so there's still a lot open for both of these teams. But I like that you point out, Riku, about the vulnerability of a Jhin. I would like the Jhin to be paired with someone like an Alistar, a Rakan, or even a Braum to try and protect that Jhin and keep him alive.
Rakan definitely fits the bill there too, because it's so easy for you to just pop your ultimate and immediately stand on top of Jhin, so that if there's a dive threat, they immediately get charmed on the way in. Alistar could also be good. It's just a little bit harder to execute.
Okay, support.
But Maokai locked in. Talk about single target lockdown here to help that Ziggs and Zed assassinate the target they want to choose.
Yeah, I'm really, really scared because so far when you look at the Fiora, when you look at the Ryze, these are, Ryze especially, a relatively short-range champion, practically pseudo-melee, if you will, already. So the Maokai can have a fun time picking easy targets. It's only the Jhin that is going to be far a range away from him.
Yeah, we need to be a little bit careful here as well. Mordekaiser is going to be a pick, so quite a lot of AP damage, and this could be the Mordekaiser jungle.
Yeah.
It could also be... Actually, I think it just is Mordekaiser jungle, because Fiora is going to be one of solo laners, and also the Ryze as well. We're looking for a bit of frontline here, because at the moment, for WRLR, they're struggling a lot on frontline. They have a lot of bruisers, they have a lot of great mages and a lot of great damage, but their frontline is really lacking. So I want to see someone here. Singe support comes out for the final pick. That is something that I have not seen in a very long time.
What the hell? Singe being thrown into the mix. We know that Singe is a bit of more of a playmaking champion here in the Wild Rift landscape, but in terms of engage, it's just one single target lockdown from the side of WRL Red. So I imagine that their game plan, since they don't have a traditional tank or front line set up here, it's just all about finding one target, immediately expending all of your single target crowd control, blowing them up, and then giving yourself a 5-on-4 advantage.
Exactly, and the first three picks that you see on the side of WRLB side have a couple of escape tools, and I feel like the Singe is a solution to that to keep them rooted in place.
I feel like one big thing though with Hueba, with the Mordekaiser, we talk about how Jhin is very vulnerable. One thing that you can protect that Jhin with is using Mordekaiser's ultimate. If the Zed tries to jump in, if something happens, actually it seems to be a bit of a switch up. Maybe it's going to be Fiora jungler potentially for Hueba.
It's
more
like
of a farm, more of a farm heavy jungle. And on the other side, Wukong could be the option in the jungle instead of the Zed. Of course, a lot of flexibility can still be had when it comes to the Rift itself. We have to wait until loading screen comes on up and we see what gets happened. But overall, on both sides, again, the Jhin is going to be very vulnerable. The Ziggs is also going to be very vulnerable. And we'll have to see which carry on either side can try and shut down these backline carries.
I'm super duper excited. I'm a big fan of Jhin being able to start the fights. And if ever there is a re-engage, that Realm Warp is there to gain access. There's a lot of burst potential from this Ryze. And therefore, they have to really try and bait out that Maokai ultimate to remove the threat of them getting rooted down in place, well, literally.
I really just want to jump into the Rift and see if Hueba is actually piloting the Fiora jungle, because this will give me so much nostalgia from our very first international tournament with Horizon Cup back on Dakun Gaming, because that jungle meta was one of the most eye-opening things I had ever seen in the early stages of this awesome game that is Wild Rift, because I used to think you just want to play early skirmishes, you want to get ahead. But it is Hueba that is invading in the bot side jungle with this pure jungle. The Singe support trying to give him an easy layup, and the smite comes through. Hueba is level 2, is able to dash over the wall with that first ability, using the riposte. Invade successful for Hueba.
And I guess they needed something a little bit spicy in this game because they are losing. It is 2-1 at the moment for WRL Blue. So they were like, Hueba, you can use your mobility. You can try and go in and steal early on. And on the other side, it actually is going to be Zed jungle and Wukong on the other side. So you're putting the Zed very far behind early on.
Oh.
And now in the mid lane, SkyFL also gets a solo kill onto Anran 9s. This is something that WRLR really wanted to start off this series.
This is so crazy because it was literally level 3. There's no death realm. There's no level 5s yet for both of these champions to do a little bit of a tussle. But basically, they just delivered the Baron lane action over here on the mid lane. And I feel like that's going to be absolutely scary, especially with the first back coming from this Mordekaiser.
And something must have really happened at level 1 for Hueba to be able to invade. And Zed was also back in base as well. So this puts, like I mentioned, Nunu really far behind at this point. The Fiora has already gone back to base, has already got Gluttonous Greaves under her belt. So not only is she back onto the Rift and farming through her jungle, but now she's a whole boots up onto the Zed. And the Zed is pathing towards top side. So now they're just going to get advantage. Take away the top Scuttle Crab, which they've already done. And Hueba can look to play more aggressive.
You normally don't think of Fiora as an invading, powerful jungler, but just because he has the advantage, they're going to force the dive. And this Singe support is making plays once again alongside Hueba. SMY and Hueba linking up the powerful tag team jungle support duo, giving WRL Red a chance in this game 4.
This is super crazy. Again, once the Singe comes in and now you're rooted in place with the Sticky Goo, all your dashes are just going to be null and void. You can't escape. And at this point, it's all about the damage being poured in. There's a lot of single target damage coming in from the side of WRLR Red because of Hueba, because of Xin, SkyFL as well coming right in, especially with the Death Realm later on. Jin, oh my god, don't get me started. I love Jin. But again, sorry, gotta sneak that in because I probably won't get the Kaisa ever in this best of 5. But honestly, right now, it feels like if this continues to keep going, especially jungler with exponentially going for a maybe 2K gold lead, you know how this game is going to go, maybe into a game 5.
With the roam from the Singed in the end, though, the Jin has fallen a little bit far behind. Ziggs was able to get 3 tower planes in the bot side, but they're going for more invades. They want to play more aggressive, Rafa.
I mean, SMY is not going to stop anytime soon. The grand challenge initiated, falling over the wall with the flash down.
One more dash!
One more dash! Procced by Hueba's Fiora there, but unfortunately for him, not able to get the last proc as Zhangji did an excellent job of hiding it on his way out.
And now you can see that the Jin is now moving towards that mid lane to get that mid lane priority. It's very surprising that in really the entire series that the bot lane, the dual lanes have been starting in the bot side, because you see how impactful it is when someone like a Singed is able to roam around the map, when the Maokai is able to roam as well. So now in the end, the Jin and the Ziggs are now going to stay in the mid lane. Ziggs is going to have that mid lane priority to try and roam around and potentially use his global ultimate to help the rest of his team.
Quite painful now here as Xin having that big early lead and so far gaining priority, which means look at the pathing coming from Hueba, going upstairs once more, setting up for a potential dive, because you see SMY's roam already at topside.
Pathing up, making sure that he is prioritizing farm. SMY, does he even wait for Hueba to get there first on the top side? He's already showing his presence just to threaten WRL Blue and see what their response is. Hueba, still a little bit of ways away, was finishing up that blue buff. Zhangji is already here just to make it a 3v2 defense on this turret. Neither team has been able to look for first brick, but you can see that that is going to be WRL Red's priority as they are investing multiple members into pressuring the top side. Finds the fling, but no follow-up just yet. Cyclone right on top. Realm Warp should be able to save Scene. SMY totally fine on the Singe. Just pops his ultimate to get that extra resistances there.
I love the patience coming from the side of WRLR just because you have the lead when it comes to the Fury, just because you are pathing there. WRLB, Team Blue, respects that, and that's why they've invested so many members on towards that area.
Yeah, you saw the Ziggs slowly roam up into the top side as well, just knowing that if a tower dive came in, that Ziggs can still use his ultimate to try and help the rest of his team. But it seems like we're in a little bit of a stalemate at the moment, but of course with the 3 kills at the moment going over to WRLR, that's going to give them a bit of an advantage, and especially in that jungle with Hueba. Hueba's just going to be able to keep on farming, and in the later stages of the game, you're going to see Hueba actually being the one split pushing, even as a jungler, because Fiora does so well at split pushing and could do very well against the likes of the Wukong and the Garen.
Not only that, she takes turrets super incredibly fast, being able to easily proc her Trinity Force empowered auto attacks through her third ability onto the turret and just constantly cast her first ability as well.
Yeah, and there was even a change recently as well that you can use your first ability to actually deal damage to towers now as well. Yeah, so that's a new thing that came in really in the last few months.
That's crazy.
So yeah, she can take towers very, very well, but instead they're going to go for the ensemble fight instead. No trading objectives this time that we've been seeing throughout the series.
Oh my God.
SMY looks for the fling onto Onron. The Garen is able to reduce a lot of damage thanks to that second ability, but now it has already been expended. Deathmark right on top of Scene, looking for extra shurikens. Doesn't find the pop just yet, but it looks like it is Onron able to continue the play onto the back line. But Hueba is now running the show as he's able to dish, dash, dodge, and weave, but the steal from Nunu is able to secure the ensemble before he goes down. Ends up being a double kill, 4 kills total for Hueva, but at least for WRL Blue, they secure the ensemble.
Beautiful stuff here coming from the side of WRLR. Their team fighting, they split the fight into 2. I know it's still not over, it's going to be a bit of a delay. Hueva's not back home yet, by the way. He was still searching for a kill onto Onron, but that is a Garen. Good thing no ult coming from Onron 9, so he's safe and okay.
Kind of taking a step back for a second. Very interesting first item choice here for DY. Actually deciding to go for the Ghost Blade instead of going for the crit items. Normally you like to go for the crit items because it scales so well with Jhin and the way his passive works and everything. But instead going for more mobility with Ghost Blade. Again, we talked about how vulnerable Jhin is going to be in these team fights, but with the Ghost Blade, he's going to have a bit of extra movement speed when he's not auto-attacking, so he can actually dodge some of these abilities. He can dodge the Zed potentially and the Garen, the Wukong, from trying to run him down.
I wonder if it's a response to the fact that there's not that much armor being built on the side of WRL Blue. You can see that it's not necessarily the full Sunfire tank build that Xjong is rushing for on the Wukong. Went for the Divine Thunder so that he can at least boast a little bit of extra sustain if he has to match Hueva in the side lane. Thankfully for Nunu, since he did steal that ensemble, they use it alongside the Ziggs to blow up the first turret in the mid lane.
Exactly, and that would at least mitigate some of the gold loss from earlier. Now it's just a 2k gold deficit, but at the same time, we can't forget about Hueba being 4-0 at this point.
You know, sir, every time I see SMY, he's low on HP, but he's never really dying. he knows his limits on this channel.
I mean, he gets a lot of durability from his ultimate. He's so fast as well, just being able to rush around, has that ghost, has even the Hex Flash as well, just in case he does get into any danger. So I think he's having a bit of a field day at the moment. And finally, after 8.5 minutes, nearly 9 minutes in this game, the first dragon will be taken. It will be Hueba taking it down. So again, the team's not really prioritizing the dragon too much compared to the ensemble. Most of the time, we have been seeing a trade in this series because you have the scaling composition. But in this one, the scaling pretty even on both sides. Both teams kind of want to fight early because of their early bruisers and assassins, but also they have both very great scaling bot lane champions with the Jhin and the Ziggs to try and do a extra bit of damage in the late game.
I do feel like, though, however, when it comes to forcing these fights, I would have to hand it into WRLR side because of that curtain call, because of Hueba being in such a humongous lead. And if the opposition is not in the best spot. You've got that WRLR to deliver and cut the retreat in case they want to run away. They don't have a lot of disengage options at all. It's more like I got some dashes. I can sort of run away individually, but not as a team.
Team doing the best he can to wave clear and look for another turret kill onto the Baron laid side of the map. But Onron endures some of the poke and the trades from this Rise. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map,
There we
the
go.
turret was slain. Cyclone popped by Xjon just to make sure that he can run away, but the claw from SkyFL pulls Xjon right back in, flashing over the wall, but Hueva follows. He's looking for a worthy opponent, and he's finding none because everyone else is dying around him. Nunu forced to use the Death Mark to try and pull some Shadow Clone Jutsu, but SkyFL, timing the flash with the mace, slams Nunu's face into the ground. WRL Blue falling further behind.
I feel like there is no target anymore with the death mark coming from Nunu. But hold that thought, there's going to be another dive.
SMY back at it again with the white fans running around.
What?
And Hueva is diving past 2 turrets. He's too far ahead.
He's way too tanky. He's doing way too much damage. 6-0 for Hueba at the moment. 1,500 gold lead. They're trying to push the wave, but at the same time, Garen is spinning to win to try and defend this wave.
Deadly Flourish roots him down. Onron forced to flash away. SMY on the Singed has been an absolute star, setting up the plays, looking for the picks, and the rest of WRL Red have been following up with great ease. Look at how far ahead Hueva is now on this Fiora. Nearly 2,000 gold. He should be finishing his 3rd item in the game very soon.
Yeah, exactly. And having the death stance on his inventory just really denies the shutdown potential and to make sure that he has a little bit of sustain and survivability in these long drawn fights. So I really love the itemization. I love the, what do you call this? I love a lot of things like that stage.
I mean, hopefully we get back into the game and get a chance to see more action on Wild Rift. Hopefully the pause is not for that much longer, but this gives us some time to take a step back, get some breathing room under our belts.
Yeah.
I definitely need a breath.
Oh,
yeah, same. It was fight after fight after fight.
I mean, Hueva, I asked for the Fiora jungle as soon as we saw that it was even a remote possibility. It was slammed right from the get-go, and even in the level 1 invade, getting that blue buff early on, level 2 access, we know that Zed can be a powerful jungle scaling into the later stages of the game, but if you get the gold lead on top of him, no one can match the Fiora in the side lane or in the 1v1s.
And at this point, okay, maybe I can't kill Hueva because you have the Death Stance. Now, Seraph's Embrace now fully stacked onto the Rise. You've got Yomu's Ghost Blade. You mentioned this. There's a lot of safety on towards the Jhin. And, of course, you can't do a Death Mark on the Singed or the Mordekaiser either.
You have so much mobility on this Jhin now. Magnetic Blast, the 2nd item as well, so just going to have so much range, so much mobility on the Jhin. The downside is this Jhin is not going to be able to deal as much damage as you go for this, normally you go for the crit build, but in the end, he's all about surviving. He just wants to stay back and survive in these fights.
I was about to say, Stuart, does he really need to be the primary damage dealer for this composition when you've got Hueva on your squad? I believe is going for a Serpent's Fang for this 3rd item, or hell, even I guess an Edge of Night if he wanted to provide a little bit of extra safety with that spell shield on top of it. Another turret has been taken successfully for the side of WRL Red in the Baron lane, and WRL Blue starting to lose control of this top side jungle now that the Baron has spawned.
Okay, maybe a little bit of breathing room for the side of WRLB is that they have the Ziggs. If they're able to at least prolong the poking phase of the objective dance, then perhaps there is a chance for them to get back into this game. The problem is, we talked about this before, how WRL Red is able to start these fights even though they're not ready.
Uh-oh, Jiangxi's in a world of trouble. At least was able to provide enough safety for Soldier to get out, but he's the first one to fall. Onron trying to spin to win, but this guy does no damage at this stage of the game. Too far behind with only a Black Cleaver is his main damage item. WRL Blue immediately lose 2, and the Baron is the next target.
Looks like they're going to try and jump onto the Zed as well. They really have so much potential. The Realm Orb into the backline. Zed!
The Spell Flux throws another rune into Nunu's face, and the final member of WRL Blue in X-Jong will make his grand escape, but just as I say that, the fling comes through as the Mega Adhesive slows him down in time. WRL Red pick up the unofficial ace and the Baron.
And they have so much setup potential for Hueba at the moment and for the rest of these bruisers. So much crowd control with the Singed and the Jin. Just back to back every single time you flip into the second ability for Jin. And when you have so much crowd control and when Hueba is so far ahead, 14,000 gold in not even 40 minutes. That's over 1,000 gold per minute for Hueba at the moment. He's farming side lanes, he's farming jungles, and he's also farming WRL Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Every single time, not giving WRL Blue to breathe at all. And I'm looking at the stats right now, right? There's just 2 deaths. That is only on the side of Jin. That happened very, very early into the game. And of course, Jin, who was able to be caught off guard in some of these skirmishes. But at the same time, I don't think Hueba's gonna die at all. Or did me saying that, did I put a curse on him in this particular game? Yeah, did I jinx him? My bad. Sorry.
Happens to the best of us. 12,000 gold deficit that WRL Blue have to somehow surmount. But with the emote choice that Jungji just spammed there, I think we all know what the result of this final Game 4 is going to be before we head into the Game 5 blind pick. Massive knock-up and massive damage from the Mega Inferno Bomb. On-run flashing in. Finds SMY. Wait a minute. WRL Blue spring the trap. Looking for more on the follow-up, but Scene is able to answer right on back, eliminating the Euro from the Rift itself. And here comes Hueba, the master dueler himself, as he longs for a worthy opponent, but cannot find one that can step up to the grand challenge.
2 inhibitor turrets taken down. Will they go for the end or will they go for that bottom inhibitor turret? They're pinging on my ways to the bot lane. They know they can't end because of that Nexus shield. So instead, they back off. They play safe. Hueba pushes the bot side. He's going to go back to base. He's going to have Sterix Gauge completed as that 4th item and potentially go to something towards like a Guardian Angel so he has that second life. Actually, Spirit Shogun, so he's going to have even more mobility and damage after he uses ultimate.
It's absolutely crazy just because that means more mobility, more safety, and even much more harder to take down and eliminate. Hueba again having the time of his life with a 9-0-2. They know that they're in a humongous lead, but they stay disciplined. We're going back. We're going to respect the fact that timers are still online, and we're just going to go objectives, farm a bit more, and have more fun, I suppose.
Hueba's having a field day right now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hueba just baits out 2-3 ultimate cooldowns and says, yeah, that does nothing to me. Heals back up with the Honey Fruit. Zhangji is the first one to fall. Going to be down for the next 40 seconds. We'll see if WRL Red can take this momentum and push into the base, but with the Baron spawning in 30 seconds, they might just hold off for now and look for that instead.
25 seconds. Hueba doing split pushing now, going into the bot side, making sure they push out down the bot lane tower. WRL Reds are going to be potentially going back to base, just trying to finalize them final items that they need. Infinity Orb finished for the Rise. Jin has finished the Mortal Reminder. Big power spikes for WRLR as we take a look at potentially the final team fight towards this barrel. Look at Skyfell.
He looms forward, pops one member into the Death Realm. It's Nunu using the Death Mark just to escape. Can't really do any lethal blows. Hueba flashing all around them. The Grand Duelist, the first international champion to ever grace Wild Rift, makes his mark here in Ho Chi Minh City, and he's carrying his team to one final game. Zhangji will get flipped over back to death, and WRL Blue can only look to Soldier as their last line of defense, but it's just a Yordle versus the world, and the Nexus will not stand the test of time. We're going to Game 5. GG!
Game 5 blind pick to end the Wild Round Smash with some of the best players that we have ever seen for Wild Rift. What a great way to end the day and to end the entire weekend.
We're hearing Silver Strings
baby!
It's tradition. It's tradition, and we're hearing it right now, and it's going to be blind pick. I'm just so excited. I'm vibing.
Yeah, some things never change, whether it's Hueba bringing out the Fiora jungle that he showed time after time masterclasses over on Donkun gaming at Horizon Cup to now in 2025 for Wild Round Smash, and on top of